For 3 seasons, Barry Allen, aka the Flash, has been keeping Central City safe from the forces of evil. And in that time, the Scarlet Speedster has racked up quite the rogues gallery. Before we get started though, mad spoilers ahead everyone, so be warned. I'm Chris Carr, here are our top 7 Flash villains. Number 7, King Shark. I had to take a lap when this friggin' shark showed up. I'm confident they blew all of the season's effects budget on that first glimpse, but damn, it was worth it! I just wish we got more time with him. On top of that, being a kid who grew up in the 90s, this character alone rekindled my hope for a live-action Street Sharks movie. Number 6, Trickster, aka James Jesse. The Trickster was the most dangerous thing Central City had ever seen prior to the particle accelerator explosion and metas. This wackadoodle terrorized the city with bombs, all while sporting a stylish unitard. Bringing back Mark Hamill to play Trickster was a masterstroke. As far as villains go, he's definitely on the goofier side, but pair Hamill's sinister tones with that nutty mayhem, and it just works. It's almost as if he's played a character like this before. Number 5, Gorilla Grod. I've always been a huge fan of this ultra-intelligent, telepathic gorilla who would give Machiavelli and Sun Tzu a run for their money. The first time we see Grod, he has a very supporting role in his first arc on the show, which, I'll be honest, bummed me out. Just like with King Shark, I was like, come on, that's it! And then, in the last season, they amped up Grod to 11, and we saw what, as far as I'm concerned, was the first teaser trailer for War of Planet of the Apes. More, please! Number 4, Captain Cold. I love a villain who chews the scenery, and Captain Cold definitely delivers on that. I've been a fan of Wentworth Miller since Prison Break, so learning that he was going to play one of my favorite villains in the Rogues Gallery was music to my ears. And man, did he deliver. He was like Christopher Nolan was directing Adam West, and I could not have enjoyed his flippant disregard for the rules while still having a lot of love for who he cared about. Ultimately, Snart wibbles and wobbles between the hero and the villain line, but that just goes to show you that even the most cynical and jaded villains can surprise you when you let them. Number 3, Zoom. Not the first speedster villain on the show, but definitely the one who's in the most weird zombie-esque bondage gear. The first time we see Zoom, we have no idea who he is. Flash has just saved the world, and we are shortly thereafter introduced into the multiverse, where everything can and does exist on different Earth, but maybe somehow, but sometimes always. Oh, give me a break, I don't know a thing about theoretical physics. Anyway, Zoom zips into the scene, and we also meet Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash, who promises to help Barry track down and defeat Zoom. Jay becomes a role model for Barry, but he's hiding a deep secret. Turns out, Jay isn't who he says he is, and turns out to be Zoom himself. Oh, the Shakespearean betrayal! Gasp! Of course, Barry doesn't see any of himself in Zoom.
You could have just as easily become me. No. I'd never become like you.
Oh, Barry. Sweet, naive Barry. That brings us to number 2, Savitar. That's right, a top baddie in Barry's life is dun-dun-dun, Barry! See, I told you there'd be spoilers if you're not caught up. Anyway, in the last season of The Flash, we have a new big bad show up on the scene. A mysterious, super-armored speed god with a personal vendetta against our favorite speedster. And even worse, Savitar seems to know what Barry is going to do, even before he does it. Every breath Barry takes, every move he makes, Savitar is watching him. He's like an even creepier, auto-tuned version of Sting. Which makes the fact that in the future he kills Barry's fiancée Iris even worse. So Barry spends the season trying to mess with the timeline in order to save her life, but not before Savitar powers down and reveals himself as Barry's time copy. At the end of the season, we watch Savitar brutally murder Iris, realize that who he actually killed was the incredible H.R. Wells from Earth 3, only to then have Barry take over his armor, destroy it, and have Iris shoot the time copy to death so that Barry has to sacrifice himself to the Speed Force and save the world. Again, yikes. It's almost as if guilt's a theme in the series. Number 1, Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash, aka Dr. Wells, but really aka Eobard Thawne, is the Flash villain. So we just mentioned that guilt is a major theme in the show, but I think the idea of a father figure is the main theme. When the show starts, we know that Barry's biological dad is in jail for killing his wife, which he super didn't do, and Barry's been adopted by his dad's best friend and police detective Joe. Barry never got to grow up with a father, so there's a hole in Barry's life. When it comes to Joe, sure, Barry was influenced by him to pursue justice and foster a love of science, but then there came a time when Barry's intelligence made it hard for him to relate to Joe. Enter Harrison Wells, a brilliant and philanthropic scientist and inventor who, whoopsie-doodle, accidentally turned a bunch of people into metahumans. After the accident at the particle accelerator, Barry goes into a coma, only to wake up with super speed. Wells ends up being a mentor to him, and another father figure, who not only believes in Barry's ability to help the world for the better, but he understands him. This only leads to incredible tragedy when Wells turns out to be the malicious and genocidal Eobard Thawne, who only mentored Barry in order to wipe him off the face of the earth. Tough break, Barry. Maybe get some more mommy issues instead for the next season? Of course, there are many more rogues in the Flash that I didn't get to touch on, so let me know who I missed in the comments below. And be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris Carr. See you, Space Cowboy.